Welcome back to Conceptual Chemistry GCE O-Level series. This is the third lecture of kinetic particle theory. So the next most important and crucial part of kinetic particle theory is to understand the changes in states of matter. You really need to know how to describe these changes and interconversions of states of matter based on KPT. According to KPT, matter can be changed from one state to another state. It can be changed from solid to gas and gas to liquid, liquid to solid, and vice versa. So let's take a very easy example in order to understand it. Whenever you lick an ice cream, what happens? It changes from a solid to a liquid. The heat energy from your tongue is transferred to the ice cream, which causing it to melt. So when matter is heated either or cooled, the heat energy is either taken in or it will be given out, which causing the kinetic energy of the particles to change. As a result, there is a change in the state, and that change can be reversible. There are various processes which are involved in the interconversion of states of matter, such as freezing process, melting process, vaporization, condensation, and sublimation. With the help of all these processes, solid can be converted into gas, gas can be converted into liquid, liquid into solid, and vice versa. I will explain all of these processes in detail in order to make you understand the different aspects of KPT. One of the very easy and common example of melting process is melting of ice into water. Now, how ice will be converted into water, or how solid is converted into liquid? So let's have a look at melting process. Melting process is basically the conversion of solids into liquid, and the temperature at which the solid is converted into liquid is called as melting point. So melting point is the temperature. Each substance has a different melting point, such as oxygen have a melting point 219, ethanol has a melting point 114, ice has a melting point 0 degree centigrade, iron has a melting point 1535 degrees centigrade, and so on. So what happens to the particles of solid when they are heated until it melts? So let's take the example of ice again. So heat energy will be absorbed by the particles of the solid ice. In the first step, the heat energy will be absorbed by the solid. Then this heat energy will be converted into kinetic energy. As it will be converted into kinetic energy, so it will compel the particles to start vibrating very fast. Now all the particles will be hyper energetic, and they will just start vibrating fast about their fixed positions. When the vibration of the particles becomes sufficient to overcome the forces of attraction, so what will happen, the particles will begin to break away from their fixed position, and eventually they will overcome the force of attraction which are present in between them, and now the particles are no longer in their fixed position. The substance is now a liquid, and the particles can move freely throughout the liquid. So this is how solid can be converted into liquid, or we can say ice can melt into water, or ice can melt. If we plot a graph of temperature against time, so we will get a curve which is called as heating curve or melting curve. So basically the heating curve of any substance shows how the temperature of solid changes as it is heated to its melting point. So here is the melting curve. Temperature will be taken on y-axis, whereas time will be taken on x-axis. From point A to B, the solid will be heated. So as the temperature of the solid increases until it reaches its melting point, at point B, the solid will start melting. From point B to point C, what will happen? During melting, the temperature of the substance does not rise even though melting continues. From point B to point C, the temperature will stay constant, because this is the melting point of, basically the melting point, or this is the temperature at which the entire solid will be molten. So heat energy taken in by the particles of the solid is used to overcome the forces of attraction, holding the particles at their fixed position. So here we will be getting a mixture of solid and liquid. But at point C, the entire solid substance will be melted and it will be taken as liquid. So the temperature of liquid rises as heating will continue from point C to point D. Next one is boiling process. Boiling process is conversion of liquid into gas. So the point at which the liquid is converted into gas is called as boiling point, and each substance has a different boiling point, such as oxygen has a boiling point 183, whereas ethanol will be having 78 degree centigrade boiling point. Water has 100 degree centigrade boiling point at its pure form. Iron has 2750 BP, and so on. So always remember that a pure liquid has a fixed boiling point. Whenever there is any impurities inside the liquid, so the boiling point will be changed. As the impurities will affect the boiling point of the liquid, so its boiling point will always increase whenever there is presence of any kind of impurities inside the liquid. So the question arises, what happens to the particle of liquid that is heated until it's boil? So heat energy is absorbed by the particles of the liquid, and then that heat energy will be converted into kinetic energy, and that kinetic energy will lead the particles to move very faster as the temperature rises. So their vibration will be greater, and when the temperature is high enough, the particles have now high energy or enough energy to overcome the forces of attraction which are holding them together. So after that vibration, what will happen? The particles are now spread as far away as they can, right? So the substance is now converted from liquid to a gas, because we all know in gas all the particles are very far away from each other, so there's no force of attraction among them. The force of attraction is probably zero, and the particles can move about in any direction or any available space. So here is the boiling curve, which is representing an increase in the temperature, and after melting, boiling process starts. So the next one is freezing process. Freezing process is basically conversion of liquid into solid by decreasing the temperature. Always remember, for freezing we have to decrease the temperature, and then the liquid can easily be converted into solid. And the temperature at which the liquid becomes a solid is called as freezing point, which is Fp. And what happens to the particles of liquid that is cooled until it freezes? So the energy will be given out by the particles of the liquid, and the particles lose their kinetic energy. So there will be decrease in kinetic energy of the particles, and they will then start vibrating slowly. When the temperature is low enough, then the particle is no longer have enough energy to move freely, so the particle start to settle into a fixed position. So what will happen? The highly excited particles will fall due to the decrease in their temperature and decrease in their energy, and they will settle into a fixed position. All the particles have settled into fixed position, so then the substance becomes solid with a proper and a firm regular arrangement of particles. The particles can only vibrate about their fixed position, but still their vibration would be lower than the liquid particles. So this is how liquid can be frozen, or it can be converted into solid. Next is freezing curve. This is freezing curve. How does the temperature of the liquid changes when it freezes? So what happens for the cooling curve? This is also called as cooling curve. This is called as freezing curve as well. So we can use any liquid in order to study how temperature changes. When a liquid freezes, so the this graph will be downward. Why? Because we are decreasing the temperature of it. So the graph will be plotted against temperature and time. Temperature will be taken on y-axis and time will be taken on x-axis. A cooling curve shows how the temperature of a pure liquid changes as it's cooled to its freezing point. So from point P to point Q, what will happen? The temperature of this point, the temperature of the liquid drops until it reaches its freezing point, and at point Q, the temperature will be that much drop that the liquid will start freezing. So from point Q to R, there would be like during freezing, the temperature of the liquid will remain the same even though it's cooling, but there will be a mixture of liquid and solid. But at point R, the entire liquid will be solidified. As we will decrease its temperature further, so what will happen till point S, it will be more strongly, rigidly be having a solid state. So a mixture, at point S, the temperature of the solid naphthalene will drops more as it will continues cooling. Next is condensation process. So what occurs in condensation process? Condensation is basically conversion of gas into liquid by touching a cold surface. Always remember, when gas particles will touch a cold surface, so they will turn into liquids or they will liquefy. Why do they liquefy? Because they will transfer their heat to that colder surface. So the temperature at which a gas condenses to form a liquid is same as its boiling point. Always remember that. When water vapors touch a cold surface, condensation occurs. So water will liquefy. So what happens to the particles of the gases when the gases condense? Think of condensation as reverse of boiling process. It's always the reverse procedure of boiling process. Heat energy is given out by the gas particles during condensation. As the temperature drops, so the gas particle lose their entire energy and then they will move slowly. Eventually what happens, the movement of the particles becomes slow enough for the gases to change into liquid. So that's why the gas will be easily condensed or it will be liquefied. Next is evaporation process. Evaporation is a process by which liquid changes to gas at a temperature lower than its boiling point. Always remember, it's the conversion of liquid into gas without boiling, or in another way we can say that liquid can easily change into gas at a temperature which is lower than its boiling point. It will always occur below boiling point and particles escape from the surface of the liquid. See, these are the particles which are highly energetic. So these particles, what do? They will, as they are having a lot of energy, they will get energy in any form. So they will start vibrate very fast, their kinetic energy is very high. They strike this particle which is at the surface. So that particle will also attain a lot of energy due to the collision. Afterwards, what will happen? This highly energetic particle will escape in the atmosphere in the form of vapors. In what way is evaporation different from boiling point? Always remember, both boiling and evaporation involve a liquid changing into a gas, but still they are different from one another. Why are they different from one another? Because this is the difference. Boiling occurs only at boiling point, whereas evaporation occurs at any temperature. Vapor formation or evaporation starts at any temperature. Whenever the liquid gets warm, so it will start vaporizing. Boiling occurs throughout the liquid, whereas evaporation only occurs at the surface of the liquid. This is a major difference in them. Boiling is a rapid process and it occurs or it reaches at boiling point, whereas evaporation is a very slow process and it can occur at any temperature. Next is sublimation process, and sublimation process is direct conversion of solid into gas without melting, without converting itself into liquid. Have you been to a concert or a play where an artificial fog is released on the stage to add to the drama or to add some like horrifying scene to the drama? So the substance which is used to produce the fog is basically the solid carbon dioxide, which is commonly known as dry ice. So as the temperature is high, then minus 78 degrees centigrade, so what will happen? The dry ice will directly change into carbon dioxide gas without melting. So this is called as sublimation. It means that dry ice is sublimed into carbon dioxide gas. So sublimation is the process of conversion of solid directly into gas without melting or without going through a liquid state. So why do solids sublime? Now there is a very important question, that why do they sublime? Sublimation occurs because the particles at the surface of the solid have enough energy to break down all the bonds which are present in between them and escape as a gas. Iodine is one of very common examples of sublimation. So this is all about kinetic particle theory. If you have any confusion, any query related to any topic of kinetic particle theory, you can ask me. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and don't forget to press the bell icon for the notifications of coming lectures. Thank you so very much.